So as you can see, gorgeous sunny day in Northern Ireland. We're in Carrickfergus, got the sunglasses on, it's looking good.
Blow the head off you.
Yeah, we're on the top of a hill, the Knocker, which is sort of just behind the town where we grew up. And we haven't been here in years, so we just thought today, it's such a gorgeous day and it's a beautiful viewpoint from here. We're just going to show you where we were born. We are Barry and Jill, the Irish pilgrims, living and working in Germany. Join us as we share stories about our community project that we're involved in, or our camper van conversion that keeps us busy in our free time, or just any other kind of carrying on that takes our fancy.
And this isn't one way. This is a two-way street.
Tell us where we're driving today, Barry.
So we're driving up this narrow little road that takes you up to the Knocker.
What's the Knocker?
And the Knocker is a viewpoint overlooking the town that we grew up in. So welcome to the Knocker Monument. It's a war memorial overlooking Greenisland and Carrick. Yeah, so down below there is Greenisland, a part of Carrickfergus, where we grew up. And I don't know how high we are up here, Jill, the Knocker. We used to, as kids, we used to climb up here.
You can still see the path over here. See there? They put a fence up, but you can still see the path.
Yeah. So as kids, you used to, if you were a wimp, you came up the deer path, which was like an easy way up.
Yeah, that was me.
And the boys, like trying to prove themselves, came up the donkey slide. We called it the donkey slide, and it was up through a steeper part of the hill here. I don't know if you can actually see the incline, but near the top it was pretty dodgy to get up as kids anyway. But a beautiful, beautiful spot here.
But you know, as adults, and especially because we've been away, I think, for a while, you really appreciate the landscape. It really is beautiful.
Yeah. The greens are really green. I know it sounds very cliched, but I don't know what it is with the skies, the colours of the skies here, and the changeability of the weather, and all the shades of green. I mean, it's
and all the hedges. It just looks like a wee patchwork quilt or something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
The golf course there down below us. Used to, as kids, come up to the golf course and try and find golf balls, take them into the bar as kids and sell them to the guys, make a bit of money.
You were always wheeling and dealing, Barry. You were always wheeling and dealing.
So here we are at the very spot where we first met. At 5 years of age?
Yeah, 4.5 we started school.
4.5.
This is our primary school here in Northern Ireland. You have 7 years primary school, and Barry and I were in the same class.
Yep, we started primary 1 together, Greenisland Primary School, and spent 7 years here. And then we went to different grammar schools. And in all my education, I've only been caned once. So back then there was corporal punishment at schools. So
I never did. I was a good girl. Although I did have to stand in the corner a few times for talking too much in the classroom.
Yeah, well, we had in P5, so we would have been 10 years old, and you got spellings every night, homework, and a spell check, a spelling test every morning, the next morning. So you had to learn your spellings for the next day. And if you got less than 8 out of 10 in your spelling test, you were called to the front, had to touch your toes, and you were smacked over the backside with the blackboard ruler.
I don't remember that.
I was smacked a number of times.
I don't think that's true.
It is true. It's just you were.
It sounds very harsh.
But it's true. It was true.
And obviously they're not allowed to do it now.
And the only time that I was caned was because of this one.
Yeah, he did something wrong and then I told on him.
Yeah.
You know, as you do.
All the musical instruments, everybody was asked to bring in musical instruments, and the teacher said you can stay in at break time because it's raining outside, but don't touch any of the musical instruments at the back of the room. Of course, I didn't listen to her, and I went down and started messing about with one of the little musical instruments that Jill had brought in, and I broke it.
Yeah.
So the teacher came.
And I was crying.
Yeah, she went crying to the teacher. The teacher came and took me to the headmaster. The headmaster stood up in his chair, reached down, pulled down the cane from up on the top of his cabinet, asked me to hold out my hand, and then he gave me 2 strikes with the cane. And I started crying as well. What age were we then? That was P4.
It was P4.
9 years old. 9 years old.
It didn't do you but no harm then.
That's when Jill first caught my eye. Greenisland Primary School, a brilliant wee school, really great school.
Yeah, but as an adult, when you come back, you look at it and it's minute.
Yeah.
And when you were a tiny kid, you thought it was a huge school.
I know.
But it's not really.
I know. Playground. Used to come here. I can't even believe it myself. I learned to play football here, and I would get up every morning an hour before school started. School started at 9 o'clock, and I was here at 8 o'clock every day just to play football with my friends in the school playground. Great wee school, great memories here.
Yeah, a lot of good memories. So after primary school, we both went our separate ways. We went to different grammar schools and really had no contact with each other. But then when we were 17 or 18, Barry started coming to our youth group here. This is the Methodist Church in Greenisland. My family had always been involved in the church through Girls' Brigade or whatever. Yeah. And Barry only started coming later.
Yeah, I discovered the Christian faith as a young man, late teens, and then showed up here.
Yeah, and we had a great
Met
youth
you
group
here again.
We had a great youth group, and we even had a youth choir and a little drama group.
Travelled all around Ireland with the youth choir.
It was great years. It was a great time. It really formed us as teenagers and kept us out of trouble, really.
Kept us out of trouble, yeah. And really great friends. We had about 30 in the youth group, didn't we? The youth choir.
Yeah.
And like weird and wonderful people, crazy people, so much fun, so many laughs.
Yeah.
And we're still good friends with some of them now, even after all these years.
Yeah, that's true. So we have to go now. We're going to visit our niece, who's just had a lovely little baby girl, and we can't wait to see her. So
yeah, we'll take a wee drive through the estate. We trip down memory lane
for us.
Our recording.
Okay, so we're just walking around from the church to like the centre of Greenisland, really. It's where all our shops are and the library, and there's also a Baptist church that got built later here. If you look over here, there's a gorgeous patch of green right in the centre, and this is where everybody comes and plays football. Or what did you do here, Barry?
So this is the green where I learned to play golf. I would play from tree to tree. My cousin had a couple of golf clubs, so I had a 2-iron and he had a 5-iron, and we would come round to this green here and play from tree to tree. We had par 3 trees and par 4 trees, and just play from tree to tree.
No, my memories up here was I was climbing a tree and I just got a book from the library. It was Alice in Wonderland. And I put it in one of the holes in the trees and I forgot about it. I went home and it got soaked and wrecked and everything. And I was frightened to tell my mum and the library.
Where's the monkey puzzle tree?
Well, it used to be here, but it looks like they've cut it down to make a car park.
They've cut it down to make a car park for the Baptist church. Who knows?
It could have been cut down before that.
Those crazy Baptists. We love you.
And here's one of the reasons why we love the Baptists. They've left some fruit and vegetables in front of their main doors for anyone just to come along and help themselves.
So here's Greenisland Library. Aye. This show's just sort of like, I don't know if we can see that. Am I in the way there? Let me get out of the way. Greenisland Library. Look at the barbed wire and the security around it, to stop the Hallions breaking into the library. It looks like a prison. It looks like Alcatraz. But it's just a library.
So this is our community centre. And we came here for everything, like
Yep.
Irish dancing classes, barn dances.
Blue light discos run by the police.
Discos.
Run by the police for under 18-year-olds.
Yeah, and on a Saturday night they used to have like a cinema, and
Films, used to show films.
yeah, and we were always
Bruce Lee films, Planet of the Apes. I remember they were advertising Bruce Lee, and for some reason they couldn't get it, and Planet of the Apes came on instead of Bruce Lee film. There was nearly a riot.
They used to have these chairs. They used to have these chairs that had metal frames, and if the kids didn't like the film, they used to just bang the chairs on the ground.
No,
was
until the guy
awful.
changed the film.
It was awful. It was awful.
That was all run by the police back then, I think. You
Yeah,
know,
I think
sort
it
of
was
community
work.
police
Yeah.
just trying to, and the Knocka Youth Centre.
Yeah.
We went to that. You know, there's two venues for it here in Greenisland. One was up the top road,
Yeah, that's true.
and they did a great work with the young people as well. When I think about it, you know, I was a young whippersnapper. Someone's just
Crashed
crashed
their
their car there into somebody's. We'll pretend we didn't see anything. As she quickly
Drives away. No.
So these youth clubs like Knocka Youth Club, and there was a wee youth club down in the centre of the estate here as well. Table tennis, pool, snooker, darts. You didn't appreciate it as a kid, really. You know, you didn't. Well, you went and you enjoyed it, but you didn't think anything, obviously, about
The workers.
and the
it was
amount
all
of effort they were
volunteers.
putting in there,
Yeah.
and you know, trying to keep kids off the streets
And in the
these
summer,
neighbourhoods.
they did a super summer
Summer schemes.
program, you know, and
You know,
a lot of people were volunteers, you know.
when you think of, you know, I think about it now because we're involved in similar work, you know, and they were sowing seeds into the lives of kids there, keeping them off the streets, teaching them certain values.
Yeah, a lot of them were parents, and they just helped out and volunteered,
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah. So
Thumbs up for
big
all
thank
those
you to
people.
all those people who had to put up with me as a young whippersnapper here in Green Island Estate.
Yeah.
So today's quite a grey day, cloudy and drab. Thankfully not raining. And Jill's gone out with her sister for the afternoon, so I'm just taking a little tour around Carrick and the surrounding area. I want to get a few snaps and show you some of the neighbourhood, so to speak. I took a wrong turn and I had to pull into a small car park to turn around to come back down this street, and just for a moment I thought I was back in Germany. Try not to laugh, folks. Oh, sorry, man. Sorry. Driving on the wrong side of the road. Oh dear, that almost is a danger when you come out of a little side street, and you have to remember. Yeah. And the church on the right. So I'm standing in Ballinure Cemetery, Ballinure Graveyard, and it's a beautiful little church here with a really ancient graveyard just outside Carrickfergus, and the oldest grave goes back to 1628. And Eleanor Clements, who was an ancestor of Samuel Langhorne Clements, aka Mark Twain. A couple of other famous people buried here included one of the United Irishmen and a hero of the 1812 war in America. So really old graveyard here. In Germany, I noticed the graves in most cemeteries in Germany are like 25, 30 years. I can't see any older gravestones, and I think it's because in Germany that the graves are reused, the ground is reused once the bodies become decomposed. It sounds very macabre, but once the bodies are decomposed, the plot of land is used again. Whereas here in Ireland, you can have graveyards untouched by farming or agriculture, obviously, for centuries. Going back to the 1700s here, and the 1600s even. And a little church in the background here, beautiful little church. One of the previous ministers here was Jonathan Swift, who wrote Gulliver's Travels. So this stone building behind me here is a vault, and it was built because in the 18th and the 19th centuries, body snatchers would come and steal newly buried people from their graves to use them for medical research. That was a common problem back then, and so they would be kept in here for a week or two in order to prevent the body snatchers. And here's one of the blue signs, Jonathan Swift. He actually was the dean here, he was a minister here, and probably like ministers today, he had a hard time getting people into church. And so one Sunday when no one came to church, he went down to the river and he was skimming stones on the river. And all the locals got annoyed with him because the minister was out on a Sunday skimming stones on the river. And when they all gathered around him, he gathered them and he preached a sermon to them in the open air. And that's now known locally as Preacher's Green. Tradition says that Jonathan Swift then went into Belfast to meet a woman, and whilst he was in Belfast, he looked up the Cave Hill and he saw the form and the shape of the mountain, and it looked to him like a man lying, a huge giant lying along the mountain. The shape of the mountain looked like a giant to him, and that's where he got the inspiration for writing the book Gulliver's Travels. So a wee bit of history in this graveyard. Remember to stay left, Barry, when you come out of these places. Keep left. 20 years in Germany driving on the wrong side of the road makes it dodgy for me here when I come back home. As you can see, all the hedges get trimmed at certain times of the year, you know, after there's no more birds nesting as such and chicks. But each farmer is responsible for trimming his hedges, and that's what this guy up ahead's doing. He's trimming his hedges. They have these special attachments onto their tractors. Okay. Jill couldn't resist filming me devouring a chalky bear ice cream. I have to eat it outside the car because I usually get it all over me. So in Northern Ireland, lots of gardens have palm trees. Because of the mild temperature here, palm trees thrive. Precision engineering, the way the hedges are cut here in Carrick. Castlewell and gold hedges, dream lawns, palm trees, palm trees in the garden, and speed ramps.
We hope you liked our video and seeing where we grew up in Northern Ireland. We want to leave you with some shots of Carrickfergus Castle and the harbour. The castle is 800 years old, and from the footage you can see just how much the skies and the light can change in Ireland in the space of just 2 hours.